r/AskReddit. What's an industry secret in the field you work in? Auto insurance agent. Please, for the love of God, don't tell auto insurance agents more than you have to. They ask you a question. Just say yes or no and answer the question as straight as you can. If you go on and on about your life story, you will probably end up saying something you don't have to and making your rate higher, or getting yourself declined. We want to get you that policy as cheap as possible. Only tell us what we need to know and don't say anything else. Edit. For some reason I have people in the comments accusing me of enabling fraud now. Fraud sucks and is dumb. Don't lie with your answers. I will reiterate to be upfront and honest when answering the questions they ask you. Just don't go off on tangents and say unrelated shit. Knowing how to research the answer to a question is at least as or even more useful than knowing the answer to begin with. I made a living in IT for a decade with that mindset. I don't know any programming languages, but I know how to translate. It's worked so far. I'm a dentist. Here's the lowdown on toothpaste. As long as it has fluoride, they are all basically the same. When I was in dental school, the Colgate lady came by and said that everything that says Colgate Total on it is all exactly the same. The only difference is the packaging. So whether it says whitening, or gum protection, or whatever else, it is all exactly the same. The exception is sensitivity. Toothpaste typically does have an extra active ingredient, No3, which helps with sensitivity. Don't ever feel obligated to buy the expensive toothpaste because you think it will be better for your teeth. Just buy whatever you like best. Library worker here. The majority of donations we receive do not end up in circulation on our shelves. No matter how much you demand, we put them there once they're donated. The reason why this is because we only add items to the collection that we think will circulate, be checked out. Most libraries get funding based off of statistics. We don't want to waste shelf space on items that PR aren't checking out, as it won't improve our stats. So, unless the donated items are brand new, or by popular authors, we will not add them to the collection. We will also weed unpopular items from our collection with extreme prejudice for this reason. Much to our patrons' horror, these books usually end up being sold at book sales to help generate funding for other library programs. As a beginner counselor, I worked with a lot of children and adolescents. Consistently, the discussion with my colleagues was how it was the parents who were the biggest problem and the kids were just adapting to a crazy environment. A lot of librarians will waive your fines if you have an excuse and you don't ask too frequently, even large fines. Also, librarians don't care about your fines and aren't judging you. Please come back. We personally have more fines than you. Librarians are always overdue with their books. Edit. I wrote this before going to bed and it exploded overnight. Thank you, kind strangers, for the awards. I'm touched. All your fines are waived for life. Also, small grammar edit BC. I was nodding off when I wrote this originally. Not an industry I work in per se, but I used to be in a sales role. One of my customers was a milk bottling plant. I was somewhat surprised that they were putting the exact same milk in both organic and non-organic cartons. Turns out all of their milk is organic, but in order to not miss out on the sales of non-organic milk, they just bottle them differently and sell them at different prices. This one is both startling and interesting. Former industry. Commercial radio. It's never caller 5. It's the caller who sounds best on air. You'd be surprised how willingly someone will do their job and even go above and beyond if you just compliment them for their professionalism, politeness, and how they are helping them. Edit. Thank you all. If you order a pizza but like to choose your own toppings, it's often cheaper to choose an existing pizza like a meat supreme or something with loads of toppings, then swap out all the toppings for ones you want, than to go for the create your own option in the menu. Note, this is much less awkward if you order online than on the phone. A lot of successful artists at a certain level of success do nothing more than create a concept and employ several assistants, who are either current or graduating art students, who actually make the art itself, its reproductions, or both. Edit. I know this is old news in the art industry and academy, but outside of it I found it very hard to explain my job to people. I do believe that films also romanticize this field and warp what a lot of outsiders think it actually is. Can 100% vouch for this. I make about the salary of a teacher, less. creating artwork every day for a recognized contemporary sculptor, who then picks up the work from me at the studio, and then sells what I made for hundreds of thousands. But hey man, his idea, Indo St Rhino RMS. Used to screen resumes for small companies. Job requirements are more of a wish list situation. Never let some unchecked boxes deter you from applying. You have no idea what the applicant pool is like. The biggest boon, especially at small companies, is someone who legitimately cares. Construction boy here. If your windows or sliding doors are tough to open and close, 9 times out of 10, we put your own dish soap on tracks and the thing works perfectly. It takes 5 minutes and we charge 150. Dish soap people, it's better than WD-40 sometimes. Literally not 5 minutes ago I was closing the slider in my bedroom thinking it's time I finally look up solutions to make this thing glide easier. So I hopped on the internet, naturally got distracted by Reddit first, and now here we are. So serendipitous. Firefighters are trained on several areas and can specialize deeper into certain disciplines. Most of the emergencies we get called to are situations we have never been trained on. But with 4 of us on a fire truck we can normally figure out a solution. As a former TSA worker, airport security is a lot of theater. TSA is constantly failing plainclothes inspections. I worked with a guy who got fired because someone showed him an ad with a picture of Mickey Mouse on it and he let the person through because he wasn't paying attention. I too work in aviation. TSA is tested by something called red teams. They basically try to get things past security. Their success rate is in the 90% range. Weight loss industry. This might be obvious, but most of our business comes from return clients after they've gained their weight back, and then some. To be clear, the plan isn't rigged to make you gain it back, but the fact that it happens easily as a result of dieting keeps us in business. This is why weight loss is so hard. Go to change your lifestyle permanently, not just for a few months. Teacher. The parents are more of a hassle than the students. I doubt that is a secret, but there it is. I know a few teachers and this seems to be a pretty common view. One said 30% of his job is teaching, 30% is unnecessary school admin, and 40% is dealing with parents who think their spoiled little shit is a victim of some conspiracy. Edit. This was at a fancy private school. A huge portion of online reviews, ratings, social media presence, etc. that you see for any given company are fake, paid for, or done by multiple accounts controlled by us. This includes a company's Glassdoor page, fake reviews about how great it is to work there so that the million negative reviews don't crush their page. I'm not saying it's every company out there, but it's been a lot of the ones I've worked for. Source. I'm copywriter. What are ethics? I surely don't know anymore. Edit. RIP my inbox. Dress codes and other rules bouncers tell you at the door are usually made up on the fly. We are just telling you all diplomatic like that you look like shit, and or that you look poor. Former Bath and Body Works associate here. The scents they discontinue will come back with a different name and new marketing. They're just recycling the scents. I worked for the biggest Mast, the company that owns Bath and Body Works and is a division of L Brand, contractor in Virginia for 8 years. There are so many fragrances that are rebranded and recolored to a different flavor. Fragrance oil is absolutely 100% the most expensive part of any shower gel or foaming soaps we made. Odds are they have hundreds of thousands of pounds of these oils in warehouses all over the US. So they just rebrand it as something else. It's not like they are going to scrap it. Also, all this shit you see on the labels of shower gels and foaming soaps that say enriched with vitamin E or contains aloe vera extract is complete absolute ducking bullshit. We made our batches in sizes of 40,000 pounds. In a 40 klb batch, you had about 2 ounces of vitamin E you would add to the batch, and barely enough aloe extracts to even get it out of the ducking cup to add it to the batch. They add the absolute bare minimum to have it on the label, as required by FDA. Foaming soaps are also about 65% water, so they make an absolute killing selling them. Not really a secret, but some wholesale nurseries will sell plants for a fraction less than public nurseries and big box retailers. Like 1 gallon of a shrub will sell for $16 at Home Depot, but at a wholesale nursery that same plant will cost like $2.06. Edit. Some wholesale nurseries are open to the public. If in doubt, lubricate. I'm a machinist. If in doubt, tighten all the screws and bolts. I maintain heavy machinery. This should be pretty obvious, but for big brand hotels, if you try to sneak above the hotel and call the corporate customer care line to demand compensation, complain, that customer care line will always call the hotel for the full story and not just blindly give compensation. The person on the other end of that toll-free number almost never works directly for the company you're calling. I used to work for a call center that handled calls for a big truck rental company. We handled all the reservations and customer service, and we didn't even work directly for the company. Federal HR here. If you put the words from the vacancy announcement about what you need to qualify in your resume, you'll almost always be qualified. We search for those words instead of reading an entire resume. Edit. Let me clarify that we, or at least I do and those I train, will continue to scan the resume for similar experience words and not discount the entire resume immediately. After over 10 years of working for HR, you learn what you're looking for and how to do it. Some are easier than others. I know of some HR folks who totally just say non-qual if it's not exact. I work in logistics for a massive manufacturing company. Money's not duck and reel. $1,000 for 8 light bulbs. Edit. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole here. I'm just a glorified mailman who talks to a lot of people who are much higher up than me. When it comes to retail, if your night crew, day crew just dongs around all day and doesn't get anything done, leaving all of the work for you. If your day crew, night crew just dongs around all night and doesn't get anything done, leaving all of the work for you. Nobody uses bots to inflate metrics more than the most major players in the entertainment industry. All the numbers are fake, including sales. It costs about $200,000 to put your own book on the top of the New York Times bestseller list. All you have to do is buy a lot of copies yourself. And if that bestseller status helps you sell more books, you can make that $200,000 back by selling the big stock of books you've collected. I know a lot of people get annoyed when a store employee pushes the credit card, but at the kids clothing store I worked at, if you didn't get at least X amount per day, they cut our hours. I wasn't pushing you a shitty credit card to be an a-hole. I was scared to lose my hours. Edit. I'm trying to reply to everyone, but I didn't expect this to blow up. If you're in the same position or have been, I'm sorry you dealt with this too. It's honestly shitty, and our minimum wage job should not depend on peddling your wonky store credit card loyalty program. At Goodwill, we don't clean anything that we sell, and we get some really gross stuff that touches everything else, so next time you buy something from Goodwill, wash it well. Then why does it all smell that same distinctive chemical smell? Do you douse it with something? If you're someone who purchases bulk nuts, grains, etc., just know that those bins are probably rarely cleaned, and even when they are cleaned, odds are they were just rinsed out, wiped down to look clean. I used to be a bulk buyer at Whole Foods Market, and when I took over, our bulk department had no cleaning logs or sanitizing procedure. The bins had moths, insect colonies and mold in them. Our store was opened nearly 5 years prior. The kind donations people give hoping they go directly to the clients in shelters actually end up at the Salvation Army or Goodwill to be resold, even though we're instructed to tell them that won't be the case. And this is done before the clients are even given the chance to decide if they want some of the donated stuff. The cheapest bottle of wine in the restaurant has the biggest markup. And your $6 glass of sangria might actually just be boxed wine with some fruit in it. Management hates IT. They don't generate revenue. Maintenance as well. Same job, really, just different types of machines. And it's crazy how little they even notice me, considering how much the equipment I take care of is worth. Fun fact, when management gave me a shitty raise this year, they lost the amount of money the raise would have normally been for the year within a week from me not giving a duck about saving them money anymore. If all other vitals are fine, and they are not in any sort of visible respiratory distress, Most don't physically count respirations each time vitals are taken. This drives me so crazy, cause I'm the idiot that actually does count resps for a full minute and I miraculously find they're sitting at like 25 and I have to try and explain to the doctor why I have suddenly discovered this. I'm not training your dog, I'm training you. Edit to add, I'm getting a lot of training questions. I understand the need for dog training, but don't have the time, or honestly the will, to answer them all. Basic obedience is really easy to find online. Just be consistent with your approach. For issues regarding any level of aggression, I recommend finding a local trainer who can actually look at the dog. If you're absolutely broke and desperate and dealing with a serious issue, feel free to DM me and I'll do my best to advise a bit. This seems to be a secret to many customers. It actually pays off to be patient and polite if you need the staff at a store to resolve an issue or help you with something. This seems to be a secret in life. I'm always astounded that people are so shitty to other people and still expect to get what they want. It's really not that hard to be nice. We Google most things. Ahem. But we expertly Google things. Sifting the answers from the trash is hard work. Banks don't have millions of dollars in cash in them. Their insurance's rates would be way too expensive. They keep enough on hand to do weekly traffic plus some extra. Yeah, there's a reason you need to call them ahead. 24 hours notice if you intend to withdraw more than 5 to 7,000 in cash. At Goodwill 50% of what you donate ends up in the trash. BC we don't have the space for it or we just deem it too ugly. The guy who shows up at your house to make repairs is usually the guy who decides how much to charge you. Standing behind him while he works cost extra. Treating him like shit cost extra. Being nice to him can save you a lot of money. The lighter the roaster of coffee, the more caffeine it has, not the other way around. So often I'll hear people say I'll take a light roast. I don't want to be up all night after all. Haha. Remember, the caffeine is in the bean at the start. The more you roast it, the more caffeine burns off since it's in the natural oils of the bean. Amusement park ride operator here. If your kid is crying and you want us to stop the ride, even if we want to, it's not gonna stop immediately. The carousel will spin a few more circles or the ship will swing a few more times before stopping. The only exceptions is the emergency stop, which will absolutely duck up the ride for a while if we press it. Hence we only use it in actual life-threatening situations. The best thing you can do is try to get your kid to calm down as the ride comes to a stop, and no, yelling stop the ride at us does not make it stop any faster. We don't actually enjoy carrying people down 11 flights of way to narrow stairs because they have a stubbed toe. Whenever you tell someone to check in the back of a grocery store, they go back there and stand for a few moments and come back out. 99% of the time of it's not on the shelf, we are out, but we know you won't believe us, so we go look for it so you feel a bit better even though we already knew there was none back there. No one really knows 100% of what they're doing. Any individual part of flying an airplane isn't difficult. It's 100 small things piling up makes things difficult. As opposed to, say, playing the trumpet. Hitting that high note repeatedly is difficult and physically demanding. Landing is easy once you've practiced it a bit, but when it gets difficult you just nope out of there and land somewhere else. Every client thinks architects are unnecessary and they can draw the plans themselves, but they are just too busy. I cannot wait for the day when I can afford to pay an architect to design a home for me. So many of my family members in the old country just designed their homes however the hell they wanted, and it's obvious that there was no professional there to say, maybe you shouldn't have a continuously heated pool be the central hub of your home because that'll lead to mold in everything. Or maybe putting marble tiles on your steep driveway is a bad idea because when it rains your car will literally duck-eyeing slide into your front door. WTF. On the flip side, I have this perception that architects are really expensive to hire. Are they? Edit. Thank you so much to everyone that has offered me kind advice. I really appreciate it. Change your dirty furnace filters and clean your AC coils outside. These make up an easy 30% of my calls for no heat cooling. Edit. More attention than I thought. So real quick, you have 2 coils, inside and outside. Your furnace filter keeps the inside one clean, so make sure that filter is clean. Outside coil kill power to the unit. Removed the coil guard and top. Usually 5/16 or 1/4 nut driver and like 20 screws. Don't use high pressure water simply on a shower setting and hold it a few inches away from the coil. Do from both ways. Button that beauty up and wait for it to dry before turning power back on. Your head pressures are gonna love you. Edit 2.0 Don't forget to blow your condensate line more than your husband. Prevents water flowing back into the unit from a block. There is way more butter than you think in almost every dish you eat at fancy restaurants, and that is usually the reason you won't see the amount of calories in each dish. Source: 5 years as a chef in Italian cuisine, head chef, 8 years in an Italian kitchen. Edit: since it has been asked if I could recommend one guidebook for you all to have in your kitchen, it would be Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, Mastering the Elements of Good Cooking by Samin Nosrat. Yes, there are plethora of others, but this one is my personal favorite. The industry-leading software is about at least 10 years old at its core. Some therapist counselors are on the wrong side of the couch, so to speak. If you feel your mental health provider is unhinged, they may very well be. Piss off one nurse, you piss off all the nurses. Never piss off a judge, your dentist, or anyone who can give you a catheter. When I worked in inpatient psych, when a patient does complete suicide even months after care and the staff hears about it, we sit together and cry. The cocktail you just bought might cover the cost of the entire bottle we used to make it. As a software engineer, double your delivery date for a product in anticipation of an overeager project manager trying to get promoted. They lie to their customers about saving their credit card information because we aren't supposed to. We also save their social addresses and 5 of their most recent phone numbers and bank account numbers. The life of a student loan servicer. Human resources. We exist to protect the agency from the employees, not the other way around. Worked at a department store photography studio owned by a major photography company that you can imagine probably took your school yearbook photos. The company also is partnered with a popular online photo order website. Notice how quickly we write down a price, strike it out, and write a new price as the deal. Yep, that's pretty much just the price that everyone gets. We aren't doing the math that fast. We have it memorized because almost everyone that comes in has that 40% off coupon. Don't come in without a coupon. There is always a coupon on the website. If you end up paying for sitting fees, it's because you just didn't go on our website. Honestly, don't buy our photos. If you just do the session and say that you'll buy them online later, on said partnered photo order site, it'll be cheaper than if you buy them in store that day. Yes, even when we say oh but you won't get this deal online. If you do buy in studio that day, just buy the digital CD of your photos. You get to keep all of them instead of having to pick your favorite 3-4 pictures. Oh, and again, it is way cheaper to take that CD to a photo kiosk and have them printed yourself. Please don't spend $400 on a couple photos that you can't legally copy when you could have gotten an $80 CD of all the photos and have the copyright to them. Donations made to Children's Miracle Network can be used for absolutely anything. Most of the money that comes in at a children's hospital can only be used for specific things, but CMN money comes with no stipulations. Because of this, it's not used for research but spent on upgrading the lobby, bassinets for healthy babies in the maternity ward, ect. Not really a big secret but seems to surprise some. I work in aluminum industry. The reason scrapyards prefer the pull tabs on cans to actual cans is twofold. They typically are denser, can fit more in a bale, and more importantly they don't have to inspect. Looking for sealed cans. A single sealed soda can that makes it into a furnace can blow up half a plant and send molten aluminum for hundreds of feet. Not so much a secret but a lesser known fact. Kirkland products, the white label brand from Costco, are independently tested to beat or exceed the industry leading product in that category. Razor blades, cookies, cheese, laundry pods. If it doesn't beat the industry leader, they won't put the Kirkland name on it. I'm an attorney. The secret is shut the duck up. RV technician here. Shit is designed to start breaking after around 44 uses. Most RV owners use their trailers on weekends, but not every weekend. So that 44 uses on average stretches between 2 and 3 years. Structural engineer here. Everything has a chance of failure. It's too expensive to build everything to be 100% safe. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.